Hey everyone, my name is Hero, and this is how to beat the Evolution Draft Challenge in 5 minutes. This challenge centers around making the most of your draft picks, which can be a little difficult since you only get to pick half your deck. The Evolved Inferno Dragon allows it to maintain full power once it's reached its peak, which means it could practically one-shot medium troops, and can do absurd amounts of damage if it connects to your tower for even a second. I'm gonna be honest with you, draft challenges are not my strong suit, and making a guide on them seems a little challenging considering the only guaranteed card in the challenge is the Inferno Dragon, which you may or may not get. But today, I'll be sharing with you all the tips and tricks I've picked up in order to give you the best shot. So let's get into it. When drafting your cards, you don't know if you're the one who will be given the choice between the two evolutions, or even if you'll be the one picking your win condition. So the strategy here is to do as Bruce Lee once said,
"Be formless, shapeless, like water."
In this challenge, flexibility is key. You pick the cards that synergize best with one another and adapt to the rest. You must channel your knowledge of all 7 deck archetypes and embrace the chaotic nature of your deck. Now, there are certain win conditions that are simply put, hot garbage. At least they are if they don't have the proper support cards, which again, you can't always predict. The Rune Giant, for example, is one of the worst win conditions you can get in this challenge since it's slow, easily stoppable, and doesn't do much damage even when it does reach the tower. Win conditions such as Miner and Goblin Barrel are great since you rarely see Log or Barbarian Barrel. This means that as long as you defend well, you have a pretty good chance at getting guaranteed damage. One card that can be an absolute menace in this challenge is the E-Golem. If your opponent doesn't have splash cards and you get a good push going, the E-Golem is almost guaranteed to get damage. The next question we have to ask is whether to take the Inferno Dragon or not. Well, it depends. In this example, I was lucky enough to pick my win condition first before anything else. I chose the Drill over Hog since Drill doesn't need support in order to make it to the tower, while the Hog Rider can be hit or miss. The second option I was given was spells, and I lucked out with the Tornado, which is a great counter to the Hog Rider. The third option was between P.E.K.K.A. and Skeleton Giant, and P.E.K.K.A. is again a no-brainer. But then I had the choice between the Evolved Inferno Dragon and the Musketeer. Now, if we had to consider only the previous options, the Inferno Dragon might seem the obvious pick. But the Musketeer has far more range and its evolution can take out mine before it can even charge up. Now I ended up picking the Inferno Dragon, but one could argue that the Musketeer would have been better. But that's the tricky part. You can never really know what your opponent is going to have. In my case, it isn't that I wanted the Inferno Dragon, but rather that I didn't want my opponent to have it because of the cards that I chose. The P.E.K.K.A. was going to be my greatest asset on both defense and in counter pushes, so I didn't want my opponent to be able to take it out quickly. They may also have had spells capable of destroying my Musketeer had I chosen it. You only have a total of 30 seconds to choose all 4 of your cards, so you have to rely on 2 things: card knowledge and instinct. Additionally, for the truly brave, you could also flip a coin. When you begin your match, you want to take things slow. Not only do you not know what your opponent has, but you aren't even sure what half of your cards are either. Playing defensively and studying out your opponent's cards can help you to formulate a strategy and avoid accidentally overcommitting. Recognizing when your opponent makes an overcommitment will open up opportunities to win. Remember that rushing the bridge isn't always the best way to counterpush. Just because you have more elixir, that doesn't mean that your opponent won't be able to defend. If your deck requires you to build up a push, start doing that. If you have good cycle cards, make the most of them at the bridge. Additionally, if you can't get your win condition to your opponent's tower, an overcommitment may afford you the opportunity to cycle spell on their tower. Because of the nature of evolution drafts, there isn't much more I can help you out with, but as always, good luck in the challenge. If you found this guide useful, feel free to leave a like. I will also be putting links to other creators' videos on this challenge in the description as they become available. The purpose of these videos is to help you succeed in the challenge, so if another creator can do that better for you, I am happy to lead you there. If you want easy 5-minute guides for all Clash Royale challenges, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you all next week. Peace.